Hi everyone. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate the use case of Dapr secret store component. So what you see here is a high level flow. I've got a Minikube cluster up and running in my local host. So that has got a pod with two containers. One is a Powershell application and the other one is the Dapr sidecar which I injected. So the Dapr sidecar is responsible to have a communication between Azure Key Vault and also with the Azure Table Storage and gives back the information to my PowerShell web application. And the communication between the Key Vault and with the Azure Table Storage is enabled through the Dapr API. And you see the endpoint here for the Dapr Secrets API, which is pointing out to localhost 3500, that's my Dapr port. B1.0 secrets is the endpoint route, and Azure Key Vault is the technical name of my Dapr Secrets API. Telegram token and Telegram chat ID is the two secrets created already in my Azure Key Vault. And for the authentication purpose, I have created an SPN and provided access to retrieve the secrets from the Key Vault. And the SPN is with the certificate. I've downloaded the certificate and I have it in my local machine. So I use that for the authentication, and that certificate is defined in my Dapr Secrets secret store component YAML definition. Similar to that, I've got Azure Table Storage, and for that, I've got a YAML definition with a table information like a key, table name, and some other parameter. But I don't want to expose the key. So what I have done is I'm going to pass the Azure credentials, the SPN credentials, and the key information, sorry, not the Azure credentials, the key information through the command line. And let Kubernetes know that it has to access the secrets in the Kubernetes, available in the Kubernetes, and then make that two components to work and give the required information back to my PowerShell application. So how do we achieve that? So before that, let me show what the Telegram does here. It's just going to send some static information as a notification to my Telegram, and that requires two secrets. That's a Telegram token and a chat ID, which comes from the Azure Key Vault. So let me quickly show you the steps how we go and achieve that. So to begin with, I'm going to create a Docker local registry. This is under development. So I'm going to put my image in my local registry, build, tag, and then push the image to the local registry. So we start the Minikube, initialize the Dapr to the Minikube, not into the local host. And then we load the image. That's just a PowerShell application that is available in my Docker local registry. And then I create two secrets. One is for the state store component and other one is for the secret store component. For the state store component, the table parameters are my secrets. That's my table name. That's the key for the table and also the storage account name. And for the Azure Key Vault, it's going to be my certificate. And I'll let Minikube cluster knows, please authenticate it through the Kubernetes secret store. And then I create two components through the kubectl commands. So that is going to be a state store component and other one is going to be a secret store component. And then I deploy the manifest. Let's see that in action. Let me quickly open up my terminal. And before getting into the demonstration, let me quickly see if there is any image running. I don't see anything. So first thing, I need to go ahead and set up a Docker local registry. So let me go get the command and run this. So I'm going to create this Docker local registry. So this helps me to host an image and then I can use that image in my application, in my Minikube cluster. So now I'm going to build and tag. All these commands are available in my blog, which is available in the description. You can make use of it. All right, so now that I've got some trouble, it has failed to read the Docker file because the Docker file is not in this location. I'm moving out to the app folder and then run the Docker build. That should work as expected. Now that the build and tag is in progress, meanwhile, I have copied the next command, that is to push the image to the local registry. This is a simple basic three commands. This helps us to run the image in the local registry. So I'm just pushing that with a tag. It's all good. I'm going to start over the Minikube, which takes a minute or two. Meanwhile, I'll walk you through the project scaffolding and how we have defined the state store component. the YAML definition. Just sit back and relax for now. It takes a minute or two. Awesome. Now that I've got the image, let's quickly check that. I've got the local registry running, and also I've got the images. This registry is a default image, and this is my custom application, a Dockerized application. All right. So with no wait, what I do is let me quickly go and start the Minikube and open up my application. So Howdy Cloudy is my root folder. I've got app folder. This is just to have all my views, my startup files, the entry point where my app.ps went to hook up a web server, render some HTML pages, and then my Docker file. So views are just simple PowerShell pages built using PS that renders a HTML and allows me to um, uh, host a website, just kind of a page or forms or whatever it is. Okay. So now that I've got a components, which is important, I've got two components, Azure Key Vault and then the state store. So let me open up a state store component. I've defined it here with a technical name, event registration response, right? Which accepts a couple of parameters. So all these parameters are not hard coded here. It's available, it will be available in the Kubernetes. So I've just let the system know that the secret store is Kubernetes. So it go get the information from there. So I'm going to create a secret in my Minikube cluster. So next important point I need to highlight here is you can go ahead and hard code the account name and the table name. Nothing harm in it, but I just want to do it as part of my demonstration to let you know that through the command line I can go ahead and pass the information. Okay, let's quickly see the state store component. Sorry, the Minikube status. It's not at started. So let's take a few more minutes to understand the Azure Key Vault. So over here, I'm just using the secret key ref to let the system know that I'm going to get the secret file from the Kubernetes, and that is nothing but a certificate, the Dapr p cert.pfx, which I have downloaded from my Azure portal, that SPN, and I've stored it safely in my machine, in my local machine. I have got the tenant ID, SPN ID. So for the Azure Key Vault, I want to let Kubernetes know, the state store component know that this is my Key Vault name. So it can authenticate and retrieve the key vaults. So I need to provide a required permission for the same. So now that my Minikube is up and running, so now I have to go ahead and initialize my Dapr. So I copy the command and I paste it here. So I do a Dapr init, setting up the runtime to 100RC release candidate 3. I tried with other versions, it didn't work. Probably something wrong in my mission. You can give a try. So the dash dash Kubernetes or dash K let the command know that it has to run inside my Minikube. So I'll show you the difference. So once my Dapr is initialized, we can go access the Dapr dashboard to understand it better. So let me open up Dapr dashboard -k. If I don't do -k, so yeah, it's still coming up. So that's the reason I don't see the dashboard. So let me do that now. Yes. Now I can see my Dapr dashboard is up, but not healthy because not all the services are running. So let me go to the more information. Now that I see it's all running, and you can see the runtime version for this. And only my Dapr dashboard is in a different version, but do not worry about that. Let me go to the overview. The status of my Dapr shows healthy. So I'm all good. So what should I do now? I need to let Minikube know there is an image available in my local registry. So let me go ahead and load the image. So while this is happening, let me quickly go and show you some more information about the code. So once my web application is up and running, I can go and hit app ps1, and this is going to hook up a web server. So to access the Telegram token and Telegram chat ID, I am using the localhost, the Dapr API endpoint, to get the secrets from the Azure Key Vault and pass it across to my API. So I need to give the token and then the chat ID. The body is just a static. You can just think about anything and it's going to send a message. So this is what exactly the Telegram route is going to do. Similarly, I have another route. This is of no use. I have another route called event registration response. So if you remember, this is a technical name for my state store component as well, event registration response. So I've got a route for the event registration response, which goes and invoke the state store API to store the records. It's as simple as that. I don't want to write a logical unit by myself to insert a record in table storage and retrieve it, similarly to work along with the Azure Key Vault. Okay, so let me quickly go ahead and see the status. Now I need to just check the image, is that listing out in my Minikube image ls. So this will list out all the images available in my Minikube cluster, and I should see the image of us Docker IO localhost 5000. That is good. Now I need to just make sure uh, I have a secrets available in my Kubernetes. So let me go ahead and say kubectl get secrets, push enter. I don't have any secrets, so let me go ahead and quickly create that. So I let Kubernetes know that I've got a file called Dapr cert pfx required to authenticate to the Azure Key Vault through the SPM. So this is a certificate of the SPM. And then I go create one more secret. This is a table parameter, a technical name. And then I'm passing the information of account name, account key, and then the table name. So this is to make sure my state store component has got table storage information to go ahead and insert and retrieve the records from there. So now that I executed it, I've got two secrets, right? So I've got two secrets. It's all good. Let me see the pod information. Kubectl get pods -a. Good. Now it's time for us to deploy the component. So now I go ahead and do kubectl apply -f components. The first component I'm going to deploy is the Azure Key Vault. And then I'm going to create another component as a state store component. So just to give you a hints again, this is the two component file. I have deployed it. So it should be available in my Minikube. So let me open up my Minikube dashboard to quickly see the status of the component. Oh, I'm sorry. This component will be available as part of my Dapr. So I should open up a Dapr dashboard. Dapr dashboard -k. So it opens up my localhost 8080, and then I go to the components. There we go. We have got the Azure Key Vault component and also a state store component. Fantastic. So let's quickly go ahead and deploy the pod. So I've got the command for the same. We go here, apply the manifest deployment.yaml. What's there in my deployment.yaml file? Let me show you that. So I've got a service kind and I got a deployment. So this let know my node has got Dapr enabled. So here I have configured that this node has got a Dapr enabled. So I'm injecting the sidecar, and also I defined my application ID and the app port. My app port is listening to port 3000, and I'm enabling the debug mode, and all the logs will be in the JSON format. That's what exactly the annotation says. So this information is also available in our overview, but yeah, now that we don't see it because I have not deployed the manifest yet. Let me quickly go ahead and see kubectl get pods -a. All right, now that you can see, I've got a pod running with two containers. That's awesome. Let me quickly go ahead and take another two quick command to do the port forward. So now I do the rollout, kubectl rollout, and then I do the port forward of the service. Port UX is my app ID, and then it's listening to the port 3000 from my local host. I'm going to access it through the port 3000. This is all good. So now I just open up my browser, and still my application is okay. This is not the Dapr dashboard, is it? Okay, not a problem. Let me quickly go ahead and run the Dapr dashboard one more time. Dapr dashboard hyphen K and run it. I should see some information. Yes, now that I see the Dapr application running here, right? So that's all good. And then one more time, I go ahead and do the port forward so that I can access the application. Let me access the application with the port localhost 3000. My application is up and running. So I've got a couple of information. This is of no use, just to demonstration purpose. Now that what do I do is, let me open up the logs and then my port UX. So you can see my application is listening to the localhost 3000. And now I go and do the registration. So let me click on the button register. So this should get me a form to fill in some information. So the information I key in here should be available in my table storage. Hopefully it should work. So let me call this as some kind of a funny name. Okay, let me keep it as hello. It's not funny, but still hello world. So like hello.world at gmail.com. That's my mobile number, my company name, city, country, and my zip code. So I push a submit button. This is going to give me a response back with my last name, comma, the first name. That's how I made my code. So if you can see the code over here in my event registration response. So once I have got the API invoked and inserting the record to my state store, this is the response you exactly see. So H3, thanks for registering, and then my web event.data.last name. It gets me the information of the text in the last name field and the first name field. So that's what exactly we have done just for a demonstration purpose. Then what should I do? I need to go and access my table storage. So let me go give a quick refresh to see. Awesome. You can see the entity is available here. So I can see there's something like an hello world in the JSON. It's a key value pair. So now let me quickly go ahead and do um, one more round of testing. I click on registry, and this time I'm going to give my full name. That's my first name, my last name, and my email. And then I give my mobile number, company, city, country, and then my zip. I push a submit. It's going to give my last name, comma, first name, some timestamp, just ignore it. Go back to the table storage, give a quick refresh. You should see the entry over here, and that's the timestamp. Awesome. The one part of our demonstration worked as expected because I haven't communicated with the Azure Key Vault yet. Let me quickly show you that now. So now, okay, I can see some logs putting up here. That's okay. It's not important to focus for now. Probably in my next demo, I can walk through in detail about it. So now I've got another route in my app.ps1, which is with a get method. When I hit the telegram or route, it's going to communicate with Azure Key Vault through the Dapr API, pull out the secrets, and then use the secrets in the REST method to call the Telegram API and then send a message for me. So for that, I need to quickly open up my Telegram. Okay, let me leave this. I made a mistake. That's okay. So let me open up web Telegram and keep that ready. I don't know if I have already accessed it. Uh, that's okay. I need to open up my Telegram app for the demonstration purpose. Telegram. Okay, I think I should have that in my Chrome. Let me quickly open up my Chrome and then yeah, I've got the Telegram app, and port alert is the bot I have created. Let me clear this, delete this chat. Now that I quickly come back to my application and click the Telegram button, I don't see any message, but you can see I've got a message secure message test. So for this, I have a code over here, secure message test. So I'm not using any secrets in my code. Instead, I'm accessing it from the key vault. So this is a pretty simple demonstration about the secure store component and a little bit about the state store component as well, and how to go ahead and avoid using credentials in the YAML file, and how to deploy a secret store component in a way that Kubernetes knows that it has to access it from the local Kubernetes secret store. In my next demo, I'll get some more details about the Dapr and enhance the application. Thanks for watching my video.